How's it, Martin? Good afternoon. I want to mention something I read this morning about Walmart. It's the biggest supermarket group in the world, and they're saying they're confused. Returns and the figures coming out for the retail purchasing from the aggregate, that's the people, that's called the aggregate in economics, actually went up. But the guys coming out shopping and buying stuff went down. Go figure. Well, Walmart billionaires find that a bit surprising. What could we say, hey? Let's give another few seconds and we'll start. As you probably gathered, 3:30, what you call a funding came out. Okay, that's 4 o'clock. Yeah, you know, I'm leave for a while and get confused. Just let Mark in. Get a bit confused at times, but you guys, yeah. So got to remember, I've been doing it for a while, and I'm sitting in front of it every day, and that's what I do. So don't get me wrong, I'm certainly very empathetic, which get a bit confusing. Now, what happened just now is a fundamental came out. Let's get it in front of me as we speak. And it's the durable goods. Now we'll look at what it's about. What is the durable goods about? Right, just give a quick rundown here. Or you just click on it, tell you. Measures the change in the total value of new orders for long-lasting manufactured goods, excluding transportation items like aircraft, because aircraft orders are very volatile. Our number gives a better gauge of ordering trends. The higher reading indicates increased manufacturing activity. Okay, so far so good. Remember all that. The point is, we're coming down in a minute. Second, I'm getting all this chat lines, everything out the way here, so I can see what's going on. Which tell them to admit them because it's so confusing. Just let everyone in with the good old days. Yeah, okay, where was I? Let's get this out of the way. A higher than expected reading, listen to this. A higher than expected reading should be taken as positive or bullish for the dollar, while a lower than expected reading should be taken as negative bearish for the dollar. Right, all good. So what did the reading come out with? Let's go back again. The expected was 0.1% and the actual was 0.7%. Now, clearly, 0.7 is a lot higher than 0.1, about 7 times higher. So what happens to gold? It goes up. And what happens to the dollar? Not doing that much there. What happens to the dollar? That's right. The euro, that's right. Wrong, didn't make sense. I think so. Wrong one, yeah. And what happens to the euro goes up, so the dollar goes down. So in other words, the exact opposite occurred. Now you start to think, my God, I'm learning stuff and everything's bloody topsy-turvy. Are we living in a parallel universe? The problem is it all comes back to the same thing. Damn inflation. I've been on about world debt. Still, you're probably sick to death of hearing of it from me. But that is where the problem comes in, this damn world debt. So the opposite occurred simply because that's expecting a higher reading. It could be, what's not transported, what's the word, translated by the institutional money there. That could be inflation. Inflation, well, the first thing comes to your head, interest rates increase. What does that mean? Well, in theory, it should be a stronger dollar. Well, the exact opposite occurred yet again. So you wonder why we're confused, wonder why you're confused. So bottom line is, and once I got myself, I'm so confused the wrong way around. So in other words, that should have actually come off. The dollar should have strengthened on that news coming out, but the exact opposite occurred. And that's what's confusing the hell out of a lot of people, these fundamentals, and scaring me. This is my language. I'm sure you're old enough to understand it. Shit, it's going a lot of us shit on it, because you rules you obey, and when those rules don't occur, then confusion comes in. So, do you know what I'm saying? So that, in theory, should have resulted in the right way around. The dollar is the base currency. So the euro went up, right, the dollar weakened, and the dollar should have strengthened. It was the wrong way around. So because the dollar weakened back to front, clearly then for gold, the dollar index clearly weakened, then gold jumped. Okay. That's where the situation gets confusing for people who are doing it for a while, never mind the guys that started. So yeah, it's frustrating beyond belief when that happens. Nothing to do with your skills, nothing to do with trade ideas, or what we look at double tops and gulfing candles and moving average, Fibonacci's, that sort of thing is, it's well, yeah, what can I say? You got the picture, but don't let it out to other people. You get it. So there's the frustration coming in. So the next question you'll get from people, what's that happening? What do I do now? And they don't expect me to know what to do now. All I can say is I'm confused by it as well. It might pull back, but whether it does or doesn't, I haven't got a cooking clue. Because if it goes out in any form of rationality, you don't know how that guy who's drugged up is going to react. You understand? The same thing with that's happening now. Rationally speaking, if I'm going to go up to a lady who's half my size, a fist there, that lady is going to pull back and get a little bit nervous. And they turn around and shake my hand and say, thank you very much, Roger, and then come and attack me when I'm clearly going to win some bigger and more powerful. Hey, that's when you get confused. You know what I mean? Probably a stupid example. I'm trying to get it across. So maybe it'll pull back or whatever, maybe some sense or reaction coming in, unless I've got completely the wrong end of the stick. But like I read out there, stronger than durable report, which is a lot better than expected, should have resulted in a stronger dollar, and the exact opposite occurred. So maybe it'll start pulling back. I'm going to go back over on my other, what should we call it now? Yes, it's come down on the DXY from 105.10 in the last 15, 20 minutes or so to 104.88. A few buyers coming in. I have no idea whether they're going to push back up again or not. That's emotional. Let the dust settle and see what happened. But there you can see the frustration. It happened with the GBP the other day, the Euro JPY the other day. I still say there were good signals and they're clearly in profit. And these sort of things happen completely outside. Yeah. You didn't expect your loved one to come up and smack you in the face and then your enemy to come up and give you a big kiss. Back to front. That's when you get confused. Okay, so yeah. So this is when I get frustrated. You probably see my bile rising a bit and my frustration. Yeah. Yeah. So there it is. Okay. It's like planning a beautiful bride, the weather forecast, sunny sky, everyone's coming, for somewhere a cloudburst comes in. I've known saints swear at that. Okay, so basically, the ones we sent out today will have taken a bit of a smack, maybe might recover. Clearly, that's not too bad. It's coming back a bit, not too bad, actually. Thought take a worse smack than that, but it's not too bad. And NZDJPY, well, and there, everything's back in front. And I thought there'd be a big smack after that. No, it's not. So, you know, hey, Mark, Murphy's Law. Let's just grab and put a hand on it and get down on these to Murphy, because that seems to be the guy in charge of the moment. Yeah, so anyway, that's not, I thought that would be far worse than it actually is. So that's pleasant. It's not as bad as I thought. Okay, might get rescued. But yeah, that's what I say. Let the dust settle. Good morning, Barney. Yeah, so I hope you're a little bit with us on our orb, showing the frustration. Like spend years saving up to buy a lovely vase, and somebody some drunk comes up and knocks it over and smashes it, sort of thing. You're somewhat annoyed. Anyway, there it is. Okay, might get rescued. Now, did a certain person join? I don't mention the name unless they have to put the name forward. Yes, they did. They're getting overexposed in gold. You know the person talking about. If you want to put your hand up, I'm happy, but otherwise I'd rather, it's up to you. But this particular person was overexposed in gold. Number one, yeah. Yes, let's stick with number one. Number two, entered at, well, pretty close to the bottom, you know what I mean? And I say, getting about, don't chase 1820, never mind 1810. Some people did, that's their choice. I would have done it, whatever the scenario. Right, but that's one, but it's compounded by overexposing. Now, I want to show you exactly how the person is. I'm going to put it in now, a pending order, to see what the figures are like now. It's going to be a short. The pending order was 1810. This is the actual figures. Sorry if I'm embarrassing, but for your own good, so you'll learn. Stop loss 1821.
Sorry, Roger, you're on the wrong graph.
I don't know what I'd do without you, mate. I just don't know what I'd do without you. God, bloody hell. Still, no excuses. Thank you, mate. As again. I think it's about once a day I've got it very well. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to get started. WhatsApp, so it's finally joining.
Maybe okay, I'm your guardian angel, sir.
You must be. So the day goes by, I don't know where you rescue my ass. Thank you. Now, this is it. This is the situation. 1800, maybe put a 0.0, some sort of happy. Oh, no. Okay. Number one. Now, that's a short, right? Well, actually, the pending order is a pending, right? So we put the pending order at 1810. That's correct. So that was entered. I'm just showing an example. Entered at market, right? At 1810. And this was 1821. Does his own thing here. Maybe we get it right this time. Yeah. Well, first of all, look at that risk reward. You're risking 11 to make actually 11, so I get that correct, right? Get the figures right here. 0.0 in case it wants that in for whatever reason. Remember the figures now. Now that's wrong again. 11 pending, 18, no, it was the wrong way around. 1809. Okay, right. That was the entry, not exactly, there's a few cents involved, but roundabout to get the concept. 1809 was the entry, stop loss 1821 and TP. It's not trying, I'm not going to mention the names, I'm not trying to get clever in that. It's just, we've got to get this right, then it's continually causing a problem. First of all, without looking, I knew 1821, just looking at it, at 1809, 1800, you kind of get a risk reward there. So look at it, 0.74. So you're risking basically 12 to make 9. Clearly, that's incorrect. But more the problem is the position size, I will mention, as a matter of fact, it was 4.0. Now, at the moment, that says 22 Rand. Well, 100 micros makes 1 standard. So that means 400 times this figure here was the risk. 400 times that is about 8,800, 8,000, call it 8,000 Rand. Now, if you're risking 8,000 Rand, the normal international is about 2% of a guy who got 100 grand or more. So in other words, if you're going in 4.0, you're risking 8 grand, you should have about 400,000 Rand in your account to go in with that order, number one. Number two, you would certainly, even if you got 40 million, you would not go in a risk reward ratio like that. Just want you to get where I'm coming from. So you've got to use this Krebs calculator, and however exciting new it may be, doesn't matter with experience and training, whatever, you've got to get the arithmetic or the maths, or whatever you want to call it, right. Do you see where I'm coming from? Well, clearly that person didn't have that far from it. So if it went right, happy days, a big smile, you've won the lottery or a small lottery, okay, but you've had a phenomenal return. Jump around, excitement, this is great, what a guy I am, and blah, blah, blah. Well, no, you got lucky. The next time you don't, now you're upset, you've lost your confidence, you're distraught, etc. No, you've got to respect this market. I don't care how positive you are, how gung-ho you are, whatever, I don't care. This market is made up of 1 million people who are also very religious, very gung-ho, very blah, 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 very, very great. What's going to protect you, not them? Because remember, every time you win, somebody else has lost, who might be equally gung-ho and religious and wonderful and positive, etc., etc. So why should the Almighty look after you and not the other one who's as equally as wonderful? So don't go down that road. Rather say, I'm going to say, I've got this amount. This is my part or percentage, which I'm willing to risk on it, and then make sure the risk reward 1.5 or better, and then make sure you've got it per 0.01 and realize. So if you want to risk 1,000 Rand on that, well, clearly call that 20 bucks, not 22. To make my life easier. Or 50 20s or 1,000. So your position size would be 0.5. Okay, so that's you're willing to risk 1,000 Rand. 0.5, not 0.05, 0.5. You can do it more heavy-handed. I just feel at the top of my head is about right. So not 1.5, 0.7, 0.02, 3.75, 6.72. No, do the maths. And then these daft things happen, like it's just happened now, which inexplicable becomes reality. It's frustrating, but you're not going to blow your account. I mean, if you did, you're overexposed, wrong figures, and that's something you can control. Exactly, Mark. Thanks for the backup. I won't mention the person. The person's on here, and I said I'd mention it because they had a private. I'm sure they'll survive. You know what I mean? But it's better to nip it in the bud now. You don't want to keep doing it, keep driving on the wrong road until eventually you're going down to Durban and eventually end up going to the sea. That's drowning, you know what I mean? Mixing metaphors like mad here. Okay, so yeah, it's got to be sort of got that hang. Okay, so there. Please get the calculator. Please do the maths. If it says if you want to risk, let's say 1,000 Rand, it says 20 bucks a micro. That doesn't mean to say you put in like 500 times that. You just divide it. I don't know. Got to do that. And I don't know what it is. They can put man on the moon. They can know which little suburb of Borneo is in the middle, whatever. When it comes to basic arithmetic, it just seems to just throw everybody. And maybe because I'm doing it, I don't know. We call it the 3 R's in the UK: reading, writing, arithmetic. And it's essential at the age of about 2 months onwards. I'm exaggerating. You start learning to grip those three. If you don't have it, can't read or write, well, today's internet now, or do arithmetic, it's going to come back and bite. Okay, so we're all okay with that. So yeah, as you can see. And so please get the calculator, do your thing. If you're not sure, give me a shout. Well, not give me a shout, WhatsApp me. And I'll say, hang on, I'll look at that. And then it takes too long to explain, I'll throw it. I prefer text, it's quicker. But if it takes too long to explain, I'll throw in a voice message. If you're still not sure, let me know. And if you can't get the hang of 5 and 5 is 10 or 1.5 is the risk reward, and I say percent, you know what I'm talking about, pack up this right away. Find maths course and get the hang of that and go back to school or something, because you will not be able to do that if you can't get that part right. You'll just lose whatever little money you've got left, and you're throwing good money after bad. You've got to get this arithmetic sorted. I beg of you. Never mind what the market does. If you can't get that arithmetic, it's no. Okay. Right, so there it is. And then after damage done, what do I do now? It's like a wave of magic wand. From damage limitations. So maybe you could say, right, bank 3 and let the other run. What happens then? The thing flies off. Now you're distraught and it's all my fault. Can't make that call. All I can say is put a stop in, as that did in this case, at 1820. And if it does come back, start easing off. But that's damage limitation. Or can I change my order once you're in? Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. If it's a pending order, you can delete it, but you're in, you can't. I don't know why. Somebody struggling. Okay, all right. The quicker get up to speed, quicker go and do my job to advise. But I seem to spend 80% of my time spelling out what in theory should be obvious and stuff that should go before you even begin to go to a live trade. You know, please help. They say, yeah, how do you place an order, or can I trade with 50 rands? No, it's taking the time away to do what I've been trained to do. Help people who want to start learn to do this job properly. You know, so get these basics, please. Those pictures of things, I'm just trying one thing. You've got an appendix problem. You have an appendix out, and I come up to you with a sharp knife, say, I somewhat think I've read this 3-day course. Yeah. Anyway, I think I'll have a bash at taking it out. Would you be comfortable with that? No. Remember, this is the lifeblood of the world, the economic, financial world's international trillion-dollar market. To try and go up against that nuclear bomb when you don't even know the right end of the north end of a knife. Try and get this, and then at least you can get on the right track. And if you don't know 2 and 2 is 4, then maybe studying medicine might not be the right thing for you. Yeah, let's move along before I get frustrated. Okay, right, any more frustrated, should I say? Right, okay. Yeah, Mark, yeah. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so we've learned the lesson. It's been met out. We don't want it happening again. Spend all these years making stupid mistakes. I'm trying to pass them on to you so you don't make the same stupid mistakes I did when I started. Okay, right, now let's see. We've got those 3 trades out, or 2 trades, I beg your pardon, out today. Yeah, I just think this was, what's a dollar doing again? I think it's a momentary blip. Don't know if it's going to go forward now. I think a bit nervous going for it again. I think we'll stick with 2. Look at something else that we like. I think we'll leave the dollar alone for the moment until we get some sanity back. But I still think these AUD NZD will come right. But I think looking at your euro dollar might rather give it a miss and have another look tomorrow. That's kind of thrown in the works. You think that thing about Dorata, saying guys will pay good money to throw literally bugger up the gearing, and then they get a tender out for guys to come and fix it. And you know what I mean? And we know who owns the tenders. Unbelievable. Yeah, Brent's driving along. Just have to see if gold comes back. No good staring all the time. Let's look at some of the others we looked at earlier on. The CHF JPY. It's coming back a bit. 15 minute would do. No, it's not. I thought it looked wrong. At 144. What's going on here? 15 minutes. No, it hasn't. It's gone back and taken that out. So it's come and taken this out. Right. Does that mean we can look for the buy? Certainly there. Where's the 200 times 4? Don't forget. Yep. It's looking good to me, this. Right. We're saying wait for a breakthrough, and then breakthrough. Oh, that's a bit too high now. Wait till it pulls back. You know what I mean? Or it breaks down. No, maybe we get a better price, goes lower. Then you're chasing your ass. You know what I mean? We've got it. It's come down, and is it going to hold above there? Let's try an hour. Yeah, maybe we can just get a little bit of a pullback to this area here and buy it. What's that say? 144.85. We pull back there and bounce. We've got the breakthrough we looked at. Technically speaking, sure as some insane thing happens in Japan or Switzerland, chairman of the bank changes his bloody name in Japan, government changes his bloody mind. In India on the team, I don't know. I'm being maybe a little bit bitter and twisted here. That in theory should be a good trade. Okay. So wait to see if it comes back, maybe 20 odd pips, something like that. And then I think we get a chance for a bounce there, and I think we've got a trade. Now we look at the weekly. Yeah, maybe take it up here. Yeah, we've got plenty of upside potential. Okay, that's a potential. So keep an eye on it, guys. I think we'll have a good one there. Then stuff that up is sodding funding. GBP CAD, I think some people were looking at that earlier on, so we'll have another look at it now. What we got down for a sell. Yeah, that's right. Talked earlier on. Maybe this one GBP CHF. We'll look at this one first. Not a lot happening, I don't think. So maybe give this a miss for the time being. Yeah, leave it alone. Not enough to 2 million decision there. If you can see what I mean, I'm getting a bit quicker now. I don't want to miss this trade. Yeah, now that's the 4 hours looking quite strong. The daily, it's pushed above. We talked earlier on pushing above there. It's nearly got this level here. And look what I mentioned earlier on, it came off. Don't know else on their own spotted it and sold it. They had sold it around about there. It should be a 10 or 15 pips to the good. Yeah. I'm confused again. I mean, the pound is one of the weaker against the strong. What's the hell is it doing up there on the 4 hour? That funding, I get that. We should have settled and had another bash. I'm not confident. The 4 hours make me a little bit less confident. Rather CHF JPY. And once I get some more momentum to the downside, I think I'm going to enjoy it there. At the moment, this is about as confused as most people trading the bank is on this particular pair. Something about leaving alone. Okay. Right, probably say the same pound Japanese. Yeah, but I'll look at it anyway. Yeah, I think that's actually funny enough. Murphy's Law again. Out of all of them, looks like the best bet, which I thought would be one of the least bets. It just shows Murphy's Law count, not ours. Yeah, this looks like it's going to hold. I think there's a good chance this one. Just check the longer term one for you. People might have something here. Yeah, that's no good. That's a negative. 4, where's the 200? That's in the strong zone again for some known reason, best known to itself. I think that's overbought. I think it's overcooked. The sellers are coming in by the look of it. I think we need a bit more confirmation, but I think there's a possibility might get some downside. Even comes back here, don't have to chase it right now. Plenty of downside potential, and even there, even to there, we can get a risk reward, no problem. So let's not get cute at the moment, but I think it's a possibility of this future. JPY, both of them getting a potential. One we will be selling the yen, and this one we'd be buying the yen, and that's conflicting. But I think the pound's very much weaker than the Swiss franc, like I mentioned, and technically speaking, to back them on that basis. So CHF, JPY, I'm thinking there might be some potential there. Well, I'm a bit still confused about GBP. But anyway, might confuse you to say the pound Swiss franc should be a short to anyone's language. It's going up. It could be the retail market doing emotional things, but it doesn't really matter. The point is the buyers are buying that and selling the other one, whatever you think. That's what's happening on the price action. And basically, the price action is where it's at. That's what counts. Okay. Okay, right. I think we've covered that. Was the NAS just covered that past. Don't forget that. Let's see the NAS. It's pretty quiet today. That was, of course, the funding. It's coming back a bit. So yeah, I think your goal you might get rescued as well. That's still going up. Plus, it's a bit low. Maybe some buy pushing it up. There's a lot of guys will. I'll say no. Wait, sell the rally. But a lot of guys don't see that. They'll say, no, I think jumping up, I'll buy. And the fear momentum, enough people do it, push it up anyway, which causes grief for people already in. Don't forget that. Always remember, always a couple of things. No such thing as a no-brainer. Every time somebody wins, someone's lost. And there's millions of people, different strategies, mental understanding, beginners, intermediaries, all sorts of things. And I want to mention something as well now on it. To see someone on one of the social media putting a sea of blue on there. So if that's a sea of blue, somebody elsewhere must have a sea of red. So the like of the sea of red is going to be the guy who's been doing it for 2 days, the sea of blue, the guy who's been doing 2 years, not always, but you've got to think who's your back. So they're saying you get the sea of blue, and you don't know, anything. More likely, if you don't learn your stuff, and just follow that social media blindly, you could be one of the guys who will be the blue, like the red, while the blue takes it off you. They put it delicately, but I'm trying to get this across to you. You don't know, you'll be the, you know what I mean? Yeah. Get the obvious, you know what I mean? Think. Yeah. Every time someone's winning all the time, someone's got to be losing. If it's that simple, I'll have to meet the person who loses on it. They must be indescribable. It must be amoebic intelligence. If it's that simple. Okay. Good. Any questions, guys? Are we all clear on this? Because the quicker we end up cutting these sort of things out, the better. Because the market will do the market does. Don't be worried about wrong positions, wrong volumes, and all that funny stuff like that. All good. Okay. Right, I'm on minutes. Let's go. I've got the Nasdaq on the 15. No, I am on the 15. For finally steps to remind me. We're on the weekly and it should be on the 15 minutes. This bottle of bloody, I've got to make some money because it's now about a case of bloody malt the way it's been. Okay, just wait a moment too. See how this opens. It's gone up a little before. I might jump around a bit. Remember the crossing, uncrossing the opening? We shall see. Yeah. As long as one condition, I can drink it with you. Right, there it is, half past. Let's see what happens now. Don't forget, sell the rallies, stick with it. Your money, your choice. I'm just suggesting that you don't buy them, you sell the rally. PMIs are still the top driver, just flashed across the screen, if you say so. You might get rested on the gold and the dollar. I'm just hoping, keep the fingers crossed. Right, we're out of all the rest, so I'm only going to do the meta. Everyone told me they're all out of the others. If they're in XPQ or they're in Microsoft or anything else, just let me know. We'll look at them or whatever. If there's any modification stock to do, we'll do it. Okay, right. So I think as far as I know, every couple of people in Meta, we've got in round about these figures. At the moment, it's open about break even. I think stick with it. Well, I don't think I'm damn sure stick with it. And yeah, and see how that goes over the next few days. Remember, this is often, not always, often shares to be swing trading, sometimes take a bit longer. All I have to say, often again, the whatchamacallit shares, the text shares tend to be a little bit more volatile. Sort of like ShopRite, the old good old day, the good old bad old days of JSC, when you'd been in for 6 weeks. The guys didn't understand. They've been fed all this stuff about day trading. Suddenly 6 weeks later, the same one. No wonder they get a bit confused. Yeah, so stick with that. I think it's going to start coming off. Right. If you already have the shares, you want to look at them with pleasure. Now's your chance. Remember, open up was 4. Poor all round, 1840. Suggest you cancel your overseas holidays at that rate. Remember the gap? You wonder why that gap is there? Simply because that's what it closed on Friday. It's open just now. That's why you get the gap. While we're looking at that, you're thinking, don't forget, guys, always remember this. When you have a stop loss or a TP, what is it? Well, I'm sure you know, but I'll tell you anyway. It's purely a buy or sell order. So you say, well, it didn't get me out the stop loss. Well, there's no buyers or sellers there. You wouldn't. I put my house up for 2 million rand. Well, if nobody wanted to pick up the tab and buy it off me for 2 million rand or 1 million rand or whatever I got it up for, well, then clearly, then it's not going to happen. So just say that I put my, because I'm sure everyone understands this, I'm going on about it. My stop loss there, I don't know, maybe I put my stop loss there. Hey, no, better still, I put my stop loss here, not knowing the market's closed. I put it the day before. I couldn't have done it when the market's closed. I couldn't modify it. I decided to enter yesterday to sell short there, to put the stop loss there. And I worked it out so I can afford, let's say, 2x. Look at that. It opened up there and I'm stopped out, loss of 4x. Hey, it's grabbing my money. That means the person tells me straight away he's trading around a cooking clue what the hell he's doing. And that is the danger. Would you let your son drive a car without knowing what he's doing? Would you let someone operate on you if you know what they're doing? Trading with money, real money, when they clue what you're doing, and then being quite obstreperous at the same time. It's just compounding the lack of knowledge, if you see what I mean. So that basically means there weren't any buyers or sellers there, only came in there. That's why you're close at that position, or you exited, or you got out. Okay, so just remember, if you're getting in or out, depending if there's buyers and sellers there. Most of the time, yes, there are, because it's highly liquid. There's millions of people trading. But a fundamental comes in, a bomb goes off, it's going to ignore that stock. It's going to go through, call that slippage. Just bear that in mind. Okay, it's not lines and charts. People literally out there buying and selling as we speak. Those shares, etc., called the secondary market, and they're buying and selling all the time. Just be aware of that. Because it's not us or the markets giving the well, markets are fair, bloody better grip as I've jip as I've been saying, but without doubt the biggest, not just this anywhere, just lack of knowledge. There's no point buying the knowledge, you don't soak it up, as they say. And it's important because the whole world runs around money, so I learn a bit about it. It's a bit boring. Okay, so all good on the stop loss TP. Buy and sell orders, no more, no less. No buyers and sellers there, mate. You ain't going to be out. So all it's saying, I put my stop loss there. If it's a short, it'll be a buy order. If it's a long, it'll be a sell order. And normally in the market, so there's a lot of sellers and buyers. They'll take it up, happy with that. If there are, well, that's why we don't have what we call derivatives or leverage trading on penny shares. That's the cheaper end of the stock market. Simply because there's not enough volume to get in or out the market. Getting in is not really the worry, it's getting out. It's no good saying, hey, yeah, shut up from here. Look at the program, mate. Yeah, but there's no volumes, no buyers or sellers. It just sits there, the figure on the chart. I give you a free TV if you buy this worth 1,000. It's only worth 1,000. Someone's prepared to pay 1,000. Sorry, Brian. Yeah. We shouldn't ask that because I'm extremely embarrassed. No, it's not this Friday. It's next Friday. Yeah. Finally, just get out of there. Stop laughing. Get off the floor and stop laughing, mate. No. No, it's not this Friday. Normally the first Friday every month. For some reason, it ain't this Friday, so it's actually the 10th. But yes, we will be doing it. Actually, I'm just thinking maybe it's complete rubbish here. Maybe I think 4 weeks has been a shorter month. It's too short intervals, so maybe a week later. I don't know. Then again, they're going to make the first Friday of maybe April. No, hang on, that's Easter, so probably make this only Friday there. I don't know what about when it comes to it, but I won't make that mistake. I won't jump in expectation on make sure I bloody well check this time to get accused. But anyway, sorry, it's not the 3rd, it's the 10th. So I don't get in the office, but I'll probably pop through the office on Friday after TR. Got myself a nice little, whatchamacallit, router there. No offense, Brad, I don't trust you with any Wi-Fi. I've got my own portable one, so it might come through. And then we can annoy each other.
Okay, Doc.
Okay. I want to buy it when the price is right. That's to admit, Ken, that's a bit of a classic problem. I'm not really sure people out there don't want to buy when the price is right. Yeah, but what the point is now, the difficult part comes in, which price is right. Just a TV program, UK call that. The price is right, whatever that means. Okay. The price is right to Ken, obviously you can't get rid of it, because to George, who to buy and sell it off him, might think the price is wrong. Always remember that. It's got to be a buyer and seller, both agreeing to disagree. Both agreeing to disagree. They're both agreed. They won't obviously, I'm not going to buy it off you, but you know, so it's got to be both agreeing to disagree. And that's what creates the market. Yeah, I agree about the buy, but still don't buy there. Let's say you're going to buy the dollar, which I still agree with, despite what happens now. That's 97, no, is that right? 97, what are we talking about? Sorry, 9 pips away. 97 pips away. 97 pips on the day. It just looks so little. Well, about 20, so I was confused. 97 pips away. So where are you going to put the stop? Down here, and you're not going to risk reward. It's too close anyway. So just got to wait for it pulls back. I agree. That's what we mean. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm trying to look at the pips involved. Okay, so I'm saying, all right, that goes to there. I'm seeing a figure there of 7923. Now I'm not after points, I'm after pips. 10 pips 1 point, so I just ignore the last point, or the last number, should I say. So I just say it's 792 pips. So you can do that by either going here, or what I do, you see on the mouse there, that little scrolling thing in the middle, I'm not sure what the wheel or whatever you call it, you just depress it, and that comes up quicker. And then if you left click, it disappears. So I can do that, left click, hold it down, drag it. So I immediately see that's 576 pips or whatever. Make sense? Hey, do you see that? Mark learned something new from for IT dance from guys in the IT business. Just made my day, that has. It's like me going up to Djokovic and teaching him a tennis technique. So I must admit, I discovered a while back through accidents playing around. Work came up, faffing around going here all the time. So just press that little thing in the middle. Right, there it comes, and the left click disappears. Or depress it, left click, but don't left click, hold it down. There it is. That's 253 pips. Simple as that.
Damn, and I'm looking for a shortcut to do that for the last 8 months. Excellent. Well done.
You're trying to tell me finally I've got some of my pride back after being forgetting about the non-farms and looking at the euro dollar, should have looking at the gold or whatever. So maybe get back to some even Stephen. Thank you for that. Little thing like that we didn't know. Yeah, I find that all the time. Or you go sort of central F or F2. I didn't know that. Meanwhile, I've been pressing around with different formulas, you know what I mean? Yeah. Don't worry about me, Anna Marie. I feel sorry for myself, but half it's tongue in cheek. If you're sort of born with a bit of a brain damaged sense of humour like I have, you tend to roll with it a bit. Just get more frustrated when guys lose a couple of bucks when it shouldn't have been, when it's nothing to do with the market or ridiculous funding goes the wrong way, simply because the basics were forgotten about. You've never seemed to understand, but yeah, that basic stuff, which we go over ad nauseum, should be automatic by now. Because I agree. I mean, the classes, etc. Talk a lot about intergates and all that sort of thing. But what I'm trying to get across, a lot of that stuff is like theory at university. I want to know what bloody button to press. You know what I'm saying? So try and sort of crystallize into that. You've got to have platform training. You have to be an expert. I guarantee half the people out there probably know this platform better than me. I'm not an expert. IT is not my strong point. But I know how to place an order. I know how to cut my position. I know how to close my position. I know I add one to a watch list. I know how to modify them, and my TP or SL. I know how to work out my volume with the calculator. Or I probably now do it in my head, but I mean, that's irrelevant. What I can do with the calculator, and I know I have a simple minimized DXY and whatchamacallit, and an economic calendar. And that is not exactly years of study. So that's what I'm saying. Those things are important, can easily be overcome. It's like spending years practicing golf, not knowing you've got to have your left hand straight. And some guy pops up to you and says, just keep the arm straight. After those years of practice, you didn't know that. And it makes a difference. It's going to happen. I'll tell you something else, Mark. I mentioned this before, guys. Be fair, I've sat in classes myself in the past, and they say, you know, you get out here, get out there. Excuse me, miss, excuse me. That was 2 o'clock in the morning. Most people are asleep by then. And they glare at you because you're not supposed to say that. You know what I mean? Don't ask awkward questions. You know? I try to say, let's all ask these awkward questions and get some honest reality in the situation. Too busy chasing dreams without getting honest reality. Nothing wrong having your dreams, but you don't achieve any of them if your headspace in the clouds and not some sort of reality. Hey, Anne-Marie, look past in life, eh? Wouldn't you say you agree? So that's the thing, trying to get some reality into all the dream stuff. Don't stop you having them, but yeah, I'm dreaming. Well, yeah, I'm dreaming Elizabeth Hurley's going to call me, but the reality is probably rather unlikely. You can call me if you like, Mark. Never mind, sod Miss Lid Hurley. That'll put me in a good mood. Oh, you, Anna-Marie. And pack your sense of humor. Ooh, that's important. Okay, anything happened with Meta? Nasdaq, sort of quick retract on here. It's trying to come off, sell the rally. Something goes up, trying to come off, it's going to go, because that's worrying me a little bit. Trying to come off, it might come right. 2 trades, which of course are important. Yay, it seems to be trying to come right. NZD, after moaning and groaning. You find that with life, just about to jump out the window, saying to hell with life. Then you suddenly find you get tapped the shoulder, you've won the lottery. And that's the way it is. Still a little bit negative that, but it's trying to come right. So NAS is trying, that was a Meta, sorry. Meta, yeah, hey, fine, I think you're in it. That seems to be coming right. So that's good. Pretty all that HPQs, I'm pretty sure that's going to come right. Pretty.
Roger, can I ask you something?
Of course you can, young lady.
I forgot to ask my 2 friends if I draw trend lines, do I use candles or the line chart? And which time frame?
Right. Okay. Right. I've mentioned this before. I don't know when it was, but obviously people come in and go. They might have missed that one. So I'm pleased you brought that because I want to spell something out here. I don't use trend lines very often. Why is that? It's a very good reason. I'll show what I mean by that. Let's put on a daily here. Let's thicken it up a bit. Sorry, thicken it up. Right. Okay, right. So you can put a trend line here. Using the wicks, see that? Or some people, I'm not swear by it, by the way, like some people swear by an Audi, some people swear by a Lexus, some people swear by a BMW, some people swear by a Merc. And they're all right, but it's personal preference, okay? So that's what they use, the wick. And there's some very good arguments, extremely experienced people. No, it must be on the wick. Going by the price, okay. Another one will come across, will also turn around, also very experienced, also a great defense attorney, also got many experience in courtroom drama. Well, no, and a very good reason, we use the body. Okay, then another one will come around and say, I've got another one where I absolutely, totally agree with you, but you don't use the body or the wick, you use the line chart. The problem with that is, we want to go back to what I was saying before. When you go to, let's say, this area here, anybody got a 9-10-year-old who can see that chart and say to them, put your arrow down there and ask them, where's the high on there? I promise you, unless they don't understand a word you're saying or they can't see the chart, they're going to go there. So all in the chord, that's a high. If you don't know where I'm going with this, please, because it's important. Everyone agrees that's a high. So all can see it, so we'll all be fulfilling. Everyone fulfills, sorry, it'll be self-fulfilling because we'll work in it. You look up, you've got some guests in the house, you've got some new guests in the house, you've got a couple of guys that, let's be a bit simple, or also brand new to your house. You say, look up and where's the ceiling? Every single one will point correctly where that ceiling is. The problem with this is you're working now on where to buy off the trend line. Let's do it, it's not that separated, but let's say it was more separated. Some will swear by that, some will swear by that. So actually, this is a good example because that worked out. Look, expected a bounce there. Look at that, expected a bounce there, and some expected a bounce there. So not everyone's in the chord. So there they are. You see what I mean? And you're relying, but you're saying which is the right one. The other one is, again, I was told it must be not this one to take it through. It must be this one because this one is higher than that. So you've got to take the next one. So it'll be another one putting a trend line in straight through like this, which gives even more different, I wouldn't say erroneous, different information. You know what I'm saying? So which one do you want to choose? I'm telling you right now, Anna Marie likes this one, Farney likes this one, Roger likes this one, and Mark's like this one. We're all right, but it's not going to help you much in where you're going to get the bounce from. That's why I don't use it that often. Does that make sense, people, and Anna Marie?
Yes, it does. If I want to do range trading, I need to do some lines.
Something right here. Nothing to do with range trade. We'll come to that in a minute. That's nothing. Range trade is highs and lows. Nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. These trend lines is a problem. Myra swears he's been years of training, blah, blah, blah. That's the correct one. Mark has been longer than that still. That's the correct one. As for Roger, well, I tell you what, I'm telling you this. I'm Methuselah. I've been doing this for 800 years, and that's the correct thing. I'm being ridiculous. Get the point across. They're not. And everyone's got a correct defensive point for them. And because of that differential between those strong points, you're not getting a reliable information. But does anybody out there say that's not the high on the chart? Anybody? It clearly is. It's more self-fulfilling. That's why I prefer these guys here, because everybody see that's not out for doubt. It's obvious, well, not obvious, but it's obvious, not out for doubt. But you have the black line, the red and the pink and the blue. The most, it doesn't matter, they could all be right, it doesn't matter. Most people use the 50 and the 200. Most people go and have a hamburger at the Wimpy's. I don't care if bloody Burger King has got a better one, a better price. I don't care. Most people are going to McDonald's, so therefore McDonald's is the one, if you see what I mean. Even if it's rubbish, it doesn't matter. It's the one that everyone's going to respond to. These two are the number ones to respond to. Let's extend 100 and to say, it's got its use. A lot of people do it, but I'll tell you what, there's some brilliant trades out there. They'll go 15 and 21, one exponential, one simple. The trouble is another brilliant one will say 16 and 34. You get my point. And they'll argue, and you know what it's like. I don't want to knock the men here, ladies. You know, it's like when a man's got his ego in play, it won't back down. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's emotional ego, a lot of it. So let's just knock these off. I hope my point has been made clear. So
Yes,
I will
thank
use them occasionally, thanks, Anne-Marie, use them occasionally, not very often for that reason. Because often mine, I'm convinced the right place, but he didn't react to it. And I'm a man, they're all wrong. Well, unfortunately, Mark is also a man, and he's got an ego like mine, and he put it exactly the right place, and where it's thought, and acted in a different place. I'm using Mark to all know each other, trying to get this message across. Now we're doing range trade, that's completely different ballgame. Now we're doing horizontal lines. There's a line there, and there's a line there. Now, why don't I put it there? Rather conservative, slightly inside. You know what I mean? Why say if it's there, and psychologically aim there, and it gets to there and comes off, and you're out the loo, out the shop, well, probably out the shop, so you're range trading, you have to go to the loo, and instead of hitting your TP, out it go, and it comes off. Back down here, now you're annoyed. So rather be slightly conservative and put it there, okay? This is fairly clear, or even slightly conservative again, maybe there. There we are. Then you measure it. You know, remember just taught that brilliant trick of mine, and I'm like, oh, I'll just shut up. I can't resist that. Yeah, I've got a pretty thick skin. I think you need to be trading hard, but it's all meant in, actually meant in respect. That's what I'm bantering with you. It wouldn't be somebody got wrong with a stick. Okay, so therefore we look at this and we say, what is that? 56, knock off a few pips, make it around 50 pips. Is that enough? I think that is. I think that should be a minimum. So make it 55 with costs. It might be 2 pip cost, don't care. Make it sort of 55 minimum gap and then look at about 50. So you're now going to say, I'm going to trade this and I'm going to short it there. This is not the one to do it. You're going to use it a lot more. It's open 24/7 at the weekend, certainly not on shares. And somebody's got movement. You know, it might be the micro and the NASDAQ one. If you get a range, you can't look at euro dollar, whatever, you get a range, but you want some movement. Not sitting there the next 16 years. This is a day one. Here's a good example. This is definitely not worth doing because you bought quite right. You got up there, then you sold. Well, it's sort of happening, going there, etc. A bit worried. You might get there next Thursday. Give you a bit bored. So let's try it on the NAS. We'll do the micro. Okay. We're going to do it on the hourly. Let's see if we can get some movement here. It's open now. It's a bad example. So let's see if we can get some movement going where. Here's a good example. What's the time now? 4. So yeah, 3, 2, 1, 12, 11, 10. That's good enough. I'll just see if we can do something here to get an idea. I prefer it's a bit jumping around here. I prefer to get bodies and wicks, but beggars can't be choosers. We'll do that. Something like that. There you are. Now, 4 hours, not 4 days. Common sense. At the beginning, I've watched the tech and I was still looking at what you're doing. Yeah, sorry, Nick, not a problem. Nicky, I should say. You'll come fresh out of university, an ex of mine, came fresh out of university studying law, went to private practice, and she came home exhausted each day. The private sector, the practical sector is always the same as theoretical. So yeah, it's a bit advanced. Stick with it. This is not a course. This is the practical stuff, and it'll come with a bit of practice. You're not going to be able to drive a car after one lesson. You need a couple of lessons. Okay, stick with it. In fact, to be successful in anything, you've got to go through the grind of time. There's nothing out there you can do. I'll do one lesson and I'm going to make money. If it was, it'd be called unskilled. The easier to get it, the less the skill, the less the money. That's why Farney, the chemical engineer, is paid more than the guy who cleans the chemicals off the floor when it's dripped. You get my point. Okay, so let's have a look at this again, just so we get an idea what we're on about. Now, there we are, 4 hours, not 4 days. Now we're talking. What's the distance? 30 pips. Is that enough? Not really. It's a bit small. If you basically, you might not find one for the day. If you find one, preferably 55 pips between 70, 80. If it starts going near 80, 90, make sure it's a quick mover. You don't want to suddenly look, hey, and then see on the weekly and find it took you 6 years to get there. I'm exaggerating. Again, use a bit of common sense. But that's the basics of it. Okay. I want to go back to something just said there by MK. Just want to just mention something there. I remember playing golf a while back, and And the guy was just about on his deck, and I said, keep the arm straight. And he stopped. He says, thanks, Rod, for coaching me on the downswing. Heavy with sarcasm. So the point is, you know, you're going to get all sorts of guys saying, oh, no, I advise this one. Look at the trend line example. No, listen to me. This never fails. Right, you know, etc. Rather, what you do is you pick up a few things, and then you come in here and you try out maybe the one I'm doing, the background, etc. See how it works. Then you see a couple of things, you tweak that, maybe tweak a couple of sort of, not for trading, but to back test on the demo a couple of times to see a new idea and see if that's it. See, tweak it. It's up to things you actually NK of all people that put the 100 suggested it. Now, I don't care. NK's been here for 5 minutes. I've been for 50 bloody years. If he comes up with an idea and says good, well, bite your bloody ego back and say, employ it. You know what I'm saying? And I thought, yeah, it's not a bad idea. So I put it on. And that was about a few weeks ago, eh? I think it was yourself. And it's still there, as you can see. So, yeah, pick it up, tweak it a bit, and then away you go. I mean, I don't want to spoil your day here, guys. Don't all run away and drop me in it. But if you ask anyone who's they're talking about, if you can say after a year of trading you're broken even, you should be okay. If you can't say it after a week or two. It's just too short. And then again, it's a lot less time. And even a lawyer after 4 years, got to start from the beginning after, even he gets a job after all that. So the reckon out there, after a year, if you're broken even, you might have a chance. Simple as that. It's your school fees during that time. There's too many guys coming in thinking, I've got no money, and then half an hour later, I'm making it. And I want you to be positive, but I want you to be realistic. You're not going to be a Formula One driver after just take lesson, never mind part of driving test, after one lesson with an instructor. Ain't going to happen. Common sense should tell you that. Okay. Well, Fibonacci's, we talk about trend lines, range trading, and that's a high and a low in the trend. So if you want support resistance on a range trade, well, I go on support resistance using the moving averages, and indicators and oscillators like stochastics and whatever, moving average, whatever, that's different. The Fibonacci is also useful. We use it. In my opinion, I like the highs and the lows, floor and the ceiling. That's by far my number one. I've got to remember the economic fundamental. So I've got to keep an eye on that. If a bomb goes off, forget the bloody technical of the high of the roof, being really metaphorical here, the bomb's going to explode through the roof. That's the fundamental. Get the idea? I use often candles, see what the buyers and sellers are doing, and maybe for confirmation, for entry. Right, a fib to see if we've got a couple highs. So let's say we've got a fib, let's say you want to sell the NASDAQ hits. Bounce starts coming off, right? You got a blue line here, that's a 50-day moving average. You've got a couple of areas along here, which also you can see some highs. Then you put a fib in, and also it's a 38.2 or 1.6 or whatever, fib comes in. You've got three confirming indicators saying this is looking good. There's no, you look, check your economic calendar, nothing coming up to stuff the system up there. So what do? You just look at a candle there to wait for confirmation. You don't want to go in yet in case it continues its upward movement. There's no sellers coming in yet. If the sellers come in, maybe 15 minutes, depending on half an hour a day, I don't know, depending on the volatility, then you'll go in, put your stop up here, make sure the risk reward, check your volumes are correct, and away you go. That over and over and over and over and over again. I can probably say that in my sleep now. You put as many Bollinger Bands you like on. That's what I do. And I sometimes use a trend line, yeah, but very rarely. You've noticed. And the only time I use relative strength, one of you guys asked me, or somebody says, I've got to stand in someone on sick to do what you call it, teach, what do you call it, forest, not forest class, what do you call it, technical class. Then I've got to mention it because it's part of the curriculum. You see where I'm coming from? I'll put one on just to make sure we've done before. We've got a quiet moment. So it's a good time to go through this because even you know it's nice to have it going in again. Put it on. Put it on. Relative strength. Right. All that's telling me is what I can see up there. I don't come in and say, what about negative positive divergence? That's over a longer period of time. And there's far more easier, quicker ways than to worry about that. Tried those as well. Dr. Clive Roffey, if you ever remembers him, he was a lover of that, but he lost more money ever made. That's why he stood on that TV and got paid there. He certainly wasn't a doctor in Beckman now, so he was very good. He knew his stuff on the theoretical plane, but a fortune for his gold there, and he didn't seem to do very well out of it. Poor guy's died, you shouldn't knock him. But anyway, the bottom line is, yeah, that's high up, it's near there. Oh, let's see, why? What's to stop that going further? Remember, this will not go up there. It's confined within the restraints of here. Can't stop the price shooting up there. No. And I'll be honest, you get a feeling for it a little bit. All right, get a couple wrong, a bad way. It's never 100%, remember that. But after a while, you can start getting a feeling. You ask me about the Nikkei right now. I haven't a feeling about it. I don't trade it. I can look at the chart and give you a technical advice. Yeah, what the word? Technical, what's it? Just mine's just gone blank there. Tech analysis, right? Tech analysis. I can look at the Nikkei right now and give you immediate tech analysis, but I like to have a bit of a background of the instrument I'm dealing with. And Nasdaq Gold, I've got a bit of a feeling for it, if you like. Let's just practice, if you like. So it's still going up, is it? Yeah. Okay. So there you are. Anyway, at least you made some bucks. A lot of people do, not knocking it. I mean, you might use a BM, and I prefer a Merck. I don't. That's just me. Millions of people do with great success. No right or wrong in this business. But be careful to say. Don't go on and say, you know, on CNN or Fox News or BBC, all you trades out there, Roger, our trademan says MACD's all rubbish. I'll get sued by the guys who use the MACD. But no, I don't. What you see is what I do. I don't even use this thing yet. If you do, I'm happy. I don't. What you see me day in, day out is what I use. I might miss a couple and K them, just a beginner. So hundreds I do, but and I use it, but nothing like I use the 50 and the 200 highs and lows, economic fundamentals to make sure, and maybe a fib occasion is required, and highs and lows and blah, blah, blah. And I find when it comes to stuffed up like the GDP, the CPI, the BBC, I think all these sort of, what do you call it? Not words, you know, what do you call them? Yeah, that can stuff anybody up. You didn't know that drunk guy is going to come and smack into your bloody motor car. It's not your fault. That's out of control. But I found back testing over a while, take those unknown gaps of bloody ridiculousness out of it. I've won more than I've lost, and that's what I'm looking at. I'm still humble enough to say, don't get ahead of yourself. But I can say I've won more than I lost. And those who follow the trades, they got out in funny times, entered too late, or blah, blah, blah. That's their choice. With a look back on the trades, the last 2-3 months, don't get back too far, you'll find most of them did somehow do better than the others. Most of them, not all of them, obviously. You get bad runs, you get good runs. Take it over a period of 2 or 3 months. There you are, Pete, because you protected profits, you know. And there are times, as you know, Pete, well, you know yourself, because you learn by experience. You tend regularly stop too close, you get annoyed with yourself and miss out a decent one. But that wasn't too close. It was about $13 away from the entry. If you got at 45, it was $25 away from entry. So you'd have done okay with it. At 1820, that's fine. And I'm assuming when you went out, you're in the right position size, you weren't over too small or too big. It's another psychological thing. At a couple of knots, you're going too small. Murphy's Law, those will be winners. You've had a good run, they're going too big. Murphy's Law, there'll be baddies and all your good stuff knocked out. Murphy's Law is always there. In fact, put a big thing in the wall in your trade. Beware, Murphy's Law. And ignore people of sciences like Farney, because it's not rational. I don't care how rational it is. I don't care. It bloody well exists. Hey, Mark. No scientific reason it bloody well does, though. Hey, can we just change the subject quickly? Well, I mean, you know, in this country, women's cricket hasn't been taken too seriously. Shame in mind. The South Africans getting to the final, I think, was an unbelievable in the World Cup Women's T20. It was an unbelievable achievement. And I was seriously impressed. I watched it and I thought, you bloody star. Remember, and they say, oh, well, they lost. Well, come on, I shouldn't be saying this. The lady's going to get one on me on this one. In the cricket, doesn't matter. No team except those ladies have made a World Cup, the T20 or ODI, 50 over 1 final as yet. Well, they don't, I'm sure they do test match. I don't follow that much. I've started for a bit more now, but certainly haven't done a final there. So the women are the first to get final and do lose against the Australians. No team out there in sporting history has won a World Cup 6 times. Not Brazil or Rugby League World Cup or the Ping Pong World Cup. Nobody's won it 6 times. The Australians have. Number 2. Number 3, they're all professionals, seasoned professionals with a large amount of interest to work with. Compared to amateurs, not a bunch of amateurs, but I mean, they're sort of amateurs now. They're not paid professionally good money like the Aussies are to do it. They haven't got the best training equipment. They've got good stuff, I must admit, but still. And they haven't got a pool to draw from like the Australians have. And they come where they take it seriously over there and only start to take it seriously over here. Ask any women's golfer from South Africa. They battle, even they win, before the fair to the next golf tournament. Whereas the UK and Australian women's golfers are all millionaires. You get the eyeball, good ones, etc. So that was an astounding achievement. We should all say bloody brilliant. I'm surprised not more jokes about the women making the final. Why can't the men do that? Another experience. I mean, the other way around, I'd be the first to take the mickey. Yeah, it's bobbing around. Coming off a bit now. Yeah, I can't say I'm that surprised. I mentioned this morning, a bit worried about it. It jumped up surprisingly, a bit worried about it. Yeah. Anyway, we're still in profit. I think most of the guys might have either taken it, stopped out, modified props or whatever. If you're still in, you've got it 80-50. Maybe I'm getting a bit worried about it. I can't say take it now and it pops up. I'm fed up. I think start modifying your stop to maybe 18, maybe 81-25, 81-50. I can't. Still a bit too close. Whatever. Please don't take a loss of it. It was a moment ago now. Oh, really? Okay. As long as it likes, that's a few years ago. Yeah, okay. AUD was doing okay a moment ago. Let's pop back up again. It's just jumping around. Okay. Nothing to do about that. Nice to draw attention, have a look at it. Nothing to do. Oh, at least that's okay, Fiona. Yeah. This GBP CHF, Fiona, I'm going to speak for you. Roger, your experience, why is that weak currency doing well against the CHF? I'm assuming you shorted it. Answer, Fiona, I don't know. I'm sure you didn't buy it. I'm sure you shorted it. Remember once I was in the office before lockdown, some person came there walking by and said, I'm back to find a trade here. What do you think? And it came, I think it was Capita. Or was it Capitec? That's right. Quite a simple lass, sweet lass, quite simple. Capita, I think you should buy it. Look, what a load of rubbish. The thing went up. She did very well out of that. So sometimes, just go figure. Yeah. So anyway, bottom line is, I still think it's going to come off, but I want confirmation because I don't know what the hell it's doing up there on the 4. I see the 4 either. Don't know what it's doing up there, but it's indecision again. Leave it alone. Don't know. Sorry, Fiona. If you went short, still think the trade was right. Why that happens, look up the heavens, not at me. FOMO, that's a, yeah, exactly. Very common. Okay, Nikki, what's R mean? You've been stopped out or something. Or you can see it. But this damn Dick's Westcote, I still thought might bounce from that. Strange. Anyway, we'll see. Okay, what was the question? GTC. Anyone not know what GTC means on a pending order? I assume you all do. You should have learned that platform training. As long as you do all right. But anybody not know, because you should have learned that platform training, it should have been explained to you. Well, yeah, good stuff. Good. It means exactly that, good till cancelled. What does that mean? Is that order will sit there till you personally cancel it. If you put, it's not a market order. If you're going to market execution in the market, if you're going to market execution, you'll be in there forevermore, unless three things happen. You close it out, or forevermore. The thing might go bust, the world might blow up. But otherwise, you'll be there in perpetuity other than that. Until you close it out, or it hits the TP, or it hits the SL. Okay, right. So that's got nothing to do with the day of GDC. It's only for pending orders. So you say, I'm going to put a pending order of a buy or sell limit or a buy stop, sell stop, material you see it here. Good till cancel means it will sit there till you delete it. If you put it into a day, it'll sit there, and if it hasn't been filled, you know what I mean by it hasn't been filled, then it will automatically be deleted at the close of the day, etc. So if I put a pending order right now to sell at this price here, GDC will sit there till it's filled, or I delete it. If I put it at the end of the day and it's not shoot up and fill me, in other words, I'm still not in the end of the day, it'll be removed. Does that make sense? You all know what I mean by filled. In other words, yes, you know, I can't think of the word, filled. The word itself should be self-explanatory. No, you're not in the market, Nikki. It's a pending order. There's no swaps, no costs. You're not in the market. You got a house, Nikki, and you want to sell it for £1 million. I like your house, Nikki, but I want to put an offer in for 950. That will sit there till I pull that offer, or it's cancelled or whatever. You're not in the market. There's no cost, no nothing. Only thing for me now, not to mark or find me trade for a while, but just remember, if you've got an order sitting in the market, and let's say you want to buy this one, let's say make it the NAS, familiar there, example there, right? You want to sell this thing, and you want to sell it. You want to sell it here, right? And it starts to come off. Not a good idea is to leave it there because you might forget about it. And then you've forgotten about it. You've got other trades in, you can't see it too well in your toolbar down there, toolbox, what do you call the thing down there? And you've forgotten about it, it'll sit there till you cancel it. Right, I'm done out. Then whoosh, we're back in a bull market. Fantastic news, fantastic. All the buyers that come in, whoosh, it goes up. You come back and you wake up the next day and you suddenly find, hang on, well, I'm in a loss, what's that for? That NASDAQ, and that's something you placed a month ago and you forgot all about it. That is sitting in, let's say, as a sell order. Thing comes up, kicks you in, but now it's going the wrong way, and you're on the weekly now due that, and it's shooting up here. All things are wonderful. We're all back in the bull market. Up it goes, and you're a happy chappy. And you've forgotten all about it. You thought you closed all your orders. You left it there. Your lovely 3-week holiday in the Bahamas on the money you made. Come back, and your margin called. You know why, where, or what. So if it looks like it's not going to get filled, might take a day or two, I don't know, rather delete it. You always replace it again. Does that make sense? So in other words, the one is do a day one, because it might overnight be removed, then pop up, click that order and come off doing fine, but you had to place in again but it hits you, you hit that order when you're fast asleep or haven't got time for it or you forgot about it, and then you're not on board. So I personally prefer the GDC, but I don't like it, like leaving it there forevermore, just in case. If it's not going to get triggered, remove it. Are you going, Nikki, are you going to let me buy that house? Are you going to sell that house in 950? I've been waiting now for a week for a decision. Yes or sodding no. No, remove the 950 grand order. You get my point. Don't just leave it there. Does that make sense? Got it. Good stuff. Hope everyone can understand that. Because I've had this before. Guys saying it's doing well, but not making any money. You're in a pending order. What's that? Well, clearly they haven't been platform training. Or if they did, they didn't grasp. If you don't grasp, interact like you're doing there, Nikki. Practice. So you're learning. A lot of people don't interact. They know little afterwards because they're not interacting. But look, get back to business. So I do go on finally, but yeah, I need this to solve. Yeah. Now, you don't have to rush this because it's a bit quiet at the moment. So I just want, before we rush into it, don't know why, Mark. Let's do this first. Why do you think anybody think Farley wants to look at this? Now, presumably myself, just make sure. Yeah, because he listens. He didn't think, why would he buy it? I mean, going about solar rally. Why would you think Mark? Shut up, Mark. Barney wants to sell there. Off the record, I agree with you totally. I like it. But before I go into it, I've got a few moments. I want people to learn. What made you think he decided this? No MACDs, no Bollinger Bands, no stochastics inside. Confusing the issue. Yeah, of course you can write pick, but that's the part stuff you should be learning in platform training. And we go back to this, we've got to order that done first. All right, well, I agree with you. It's gone up and tested the 100-day average. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. MK. And MK hasn't been doing this for years. I think he's quite a young guy, but the young guys are sharp. Look at this. Look at this. Talk about range trading. Look at all this. Let's go back a bit. Look at all these guys here. You get the idea. Let's look at the weekly. Don't tell us much. Yeah, same sort of idea. Look at this. Going back to the year. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. 1 hour, 4 hour. Absolutely. I like it. Now we do the micro, just do a bigger position. You've got a bigger account. Okay. You can't go bigger than 0.5. If you've got more money, you'll go 0.5, you have to go 0.5. But don't forget, this is a contract 1, there's contract 10. So 0.5 on here is equivalent to 0.05 on the normal one. So where can you put the stop? Out the way, because it's cheap on this, right out the way. 140 won't cut it, 168 won't cut it. On the 4 hour, we'll do the 4 hour, that's good enough. 280, you can make it daily. Out the way up here, that's perfect. I want it right out the way. In fact, why do you have to do it? Let's do it here. That will do. So let's do that. 33,450. And if you think, I think Farney's clever, trust me, he doesn't like me to tell you this, he failed his matric 10 times. Good, you don't have to be clever, guys.
After I repeated 8, standard 8 twice.
Exactly. There we are, slightly inside of that. We've got a 2 risk to 1, we can even put the stop up a bit. We still get a risk reward. Let's see if we can get it up here. Yeah, we can put it right back up there. There you are, 1.75, 70 bucks a micro. You cannot trade this in a bigger one, that'd be 770 micro. See the value. So clearly, then when you go in 1 micro and you've got 10 grand in your account, if you've got 10 grand, suggest you risk about 600, 500, 5.7 to 35 is a bit high. 5.7 to 35, 40. I would say if you want to risk about 5, if you've got 10 grand, 500-600, divide that in 500 into that, 80-40. Yeah, I'd say you'd be about 0.05, something like that maximum, or round it down if you feel uncomfortable. But get your volumes right. Nice one, Fanny. I like it. Okay, anybody agree? Anyone else like this? Here's a chance for everyone. Everyone can afford at least one micro there. If you can't afford $70, you shouldn't be trading. Got bigger problems on the planet. Anna Marie likes it. That's a good sign because Anna Marie didn't jump in blindly. So that's a good sign. It's a plus. I certainly like it. Barney certainly likes it. Sure, some other guys like this one. Right, you're going to do it, okay? Okay, we're going to don't roll. It's up to you. 3-1, call it 3-1-50. 3-3-1-50. 3-3-5, call it 5-7-5 round figure. 3-2-4-50. There you are. Got that written down. There you are. Hey, Brian, I like that one. You got a couple of guys who follow you. There you are. I like it. Now, I don't want to put the mockers on it now, so I like it. Maybe Mark and I should shout out together. We don't like it. And that might give us some decent move down. Just a second, remember 5 o'clock, at least it's past. What about that? New home sales, a lot better than expected. That penny home sales came in, not the most powerful thing on the planet, but anyway, there it is. People are still buying probably in the States. That's what's well, I don't know how much money you got. Lot size 1 is correct. I have no idea how much money you got, Tim. A lot size correct now is 100 times this. So 100 times that would be 790. It'd be about 8,000 risk if you go. You can't do a lot size in this. The max is 0.5 anyway. If you want to do a lot size, you have to go another one, then you'd be about a 10,000 rand risk. So you'd need on that probably about R1 million in your account. Maybe 500,000. Have you got 500,000? Then you've got to add it. By adding it, you go to the portal and you click on Open Live Trade, an option there, choose it, and the Dow and the NASDAQ will be on there. So if you don't mind, Tim, if you don't mind, how much money have you got?
Around 500.
500. You want to go slot? You won't be able to get it anyway because the margin way around. 500. All you can go is 0.01.
0.01.
I seriously suggest when you ask a question like that, you go to a forex class. You've got to know what a lot size is.
No, sir, I understand.
Yeah, this is 0.01, 1/100th or 1% of one lot. One lot is big on a micro. It's extremely big on a normal one.
No, that makes sense.
Because remember, it's 100 times 77, so that would be 7,700 on the micro. You get an idea. It's hectic. But the guys who can afford to go bigger than 5 minutes or half a standard lot, we're probably playing around the normal one anyway. Playing around this. This is just to give guys a chance to get out of the demo, overcome their fear, and give guys a chance, with all due respect, tiny accounts, to actually go for the beloved Dow and the NAPS, which they normally can't. Okay, so we're in on this one. So indeed, does that make sense? That's how you do it. If there's still any problems, call up your account manager. You probably have the details anyway. The guy I spoke to, you got involved with Stock Market College and Quick Trade and all the other bits and pieces. You probably have still got the number. If you haven't, the account manager's on the portal, just like everything else is. Just keep that handy, okay? If worst comes to worst, I'm sure if he's still there, Brad is left. Brad would help you out. He's left. He's an account manager. Just a quick one before we close up. An account manager is there to help you for the intermediary side of the phase regulations in South Africa. Financial advisory intermediate services. The intermediate is their job. On the advisory, it's a different ballgame. You have to be able to be regulated with the FSCA, the Financial Services Conduct Authority, to be legally allowed to give advice. And to do that, there's quite a few exams you've got to take. Doesn't mean saying you know what you're doing, but it means you at least pass the test or two and get the right piece of paper. That's a difficult. Hey, guys with degrees. Guys have come out with degrees and still got their after elbow. But anyway, at least they're legally allowed to advise. But hopefully I do know a little bit. But yeah, so any advice, you can get them, please. They've got to steer to myself. But if you come and ask me things all basically intermediate areas, I'm quite busy with advice, so I'll steer you back to your account manager. So we both have jobs and we work in tandem. The only basic difference between myself and the account manager is I'm much better looking, but that's just the way it is. That is a joke, guys. Not the original Dow, you can't afford one. Not being rude, you can't. That's far too hectic. Not being rude in that, it's just no. Heard on before, what's his name? Mike O'Leary, whatever his name is, the head honcho of Ryanair. And you know, the guy's he's top guy, he put it together. And they said, when's he going to retire? He said, as soon as I can find someone as good looking as me can take over. Just tickled me that. Irishman, typical sense of humor. Yeah, exactly. Postman. Yeah, good point. That's a very good point. Thank you for that. Right. Roger. See what Nikki's doing? She's interacting. That's why she's learned. She could be he, beg your pardon. Don't forget WhatsApp because it gets quite busy. It's just easier by WhatsApp. Facebook WhatsApp number. I just want to mention, by the way, Nikki and anybody there sees that. Please, not if you got less than 500 Rand and never on a demo. It's certain rules and do's and don'ts and just not done. Never any broker anywhere in the world ever call and ask advice on a demo. That's the quickest way to get the wrong side of them. So only WhatsApp me if you've got 5 Rand or more. Preferably you've got 2.5 grand or more, and then I'll upload you to my VIP group so you'll get more signals. The difference between the two is you get more signals. Why can't I just send all the signal out to everybody? Because guys with tiny amounts of money, even less knowledge, start going for a lot of them, and then they get margin pulled because they don't know about being overexposed. You can't afford all 3 houses, and then they see the opportunity to buy them all. These are all nice deposits, and suddenly find the margin pulled. So you just get more signals, and you get daily updates, and yeah, then you can do that. If you've got less than 500, I will check your account as you send the details through, and I'll say, sorry, I can't help you. I can't help you 3, 4, I can offer you no value, and I'm really horribly honest, you're wasting your time, never mind. You're totally ridiculously undercapitalized. It's a $1 trillion market, remember that. Okay, so bear that in mind. You need 500 Rand or more, or $50 or more, it's a dollar account. And please, if you do contact me, and before, don't say like today if someone said whatever the first name was, I asked and said, I made a hint, so it's quite a common name. And he obviously completely misunderstood me. Now, who the hell, like John, for argument's sake? So you've got to put in the details and not your nickname, because I've got to find you on the system. So if your name is Joe Soap on the system, that will do. But if your nickname is Joanne or whatever, I won't find it. So please just give your names, preferably a real account number, it makes it quicker. You can't, at least your full names. And then I'll check the system, and then we can take it from there. Okay. But there you are. So under those auspices, if you would, you've got my WhatsApp number, and that's my job is to help. But all I ask in return, help me to help you. Don't get me to find out people dragging information at you, you know? I might be loud, but I think by now you get to be I'm a straight talker. So yeah, yeah, I'm not here to try and catch you. I don't need to. I'm doing okay, and yeah, if I'm going to catch you, it might be about 20 million, 30 million, but that could be a few hundred bucks. Trust me. Okay, Anna Marie, all got it. All okay. Not meant to be harsh. It's supposed to be to help. Okay. So I am loud. I'm on bombastic Tom again, but at least I'm on your side. Hope that works for you. Good stuff, guys. Right, we'll see how that goes. Keep an eye on it. And so no, Nikki, question again. It comes to good stuff here. Nikki, the only point of a demo is to know how to operate the platform. The last thing you want to do is go live, and we call it fat finger. We put the wrong number in. You put 10, you should put 5 or 100. Just so you're comfortable with the platform. Do not try to learn trade on the demo. It is worse than useless. You know, guys have been at Mark and Farney. Most of trading difficulty is overcoming the emotion. If you don't have any money, there's no emotion, and then you're not learning a thing, and you build yourself a false paradise, which is more damage than good. It's up to you. I know from experience. When I started, I thought I was no end of a chap on FXCM, $50,000 account, doing brilliantly. So my good lady says, when you can go real? Oh, yeah. Don't think it's self-kidology. No. What you do is you learn to operate the platform and come to a couple of go to a couple of classes, look at lot sizes and things like that. Come here, and then you get a signal, and then make sure you got the position size calculated and say, right, I've got $1,000 in my account. I'm willing to risk 100. It's 84 of micro. If I do 2 micros, clears 160. It's over my 100. So I'm not a 2-year-old. I can work that out. So I put in 0.01, and that's the only way you're going to learn. You're not going to learn on a demo. See, demos for 2 things: knowing how to operate the platform, and down the line, when you know what you're doing, you're more experienced, you're doing it for several months or longer, you want to try a new strategy. Maybe I'll try out the crossing of the 21 exponential over the 15 moving, or vice versa, or where simple moving average, or something like that. It's going to try and have a new bowling band idea of it somewhere. Then you may be on that to see how it works out, see if you do it live or not. But to try and learn how to trade live on that is a complete waste of time. Okay. You cannot learn trading without real money. It's the only way. It's all in, well, not all in, most, a large part of it. Take that out, you're not going to learn. Sorry to go on about it, but it's very important. And an excellent question. You've been brilliant, actually. Thank you, Nikki. Okay, guys. Right, I'll catch you tomorrow. As per normal. Good stuff. Cheers, Ed. Hope you're all good. Thank you. Cheers, Nikki.